Why power tiers matter in magic. In this chapter, we explore the grammar of power. Magic, in the world we have come to know, is not a simple, single thing. It is not merely a lightning bolt from a stick. It is a craft, a science, an art, and above all, an expression of will. It is the force that can mend a broken bone or shatter a soul. It can build a castle from a blueprint in the mind, and it can hide a secret deep within the heart, safe from any intruder. But not all magic is created equal, because not all who wield it are equal. We have seen magic that fumbles, magic that explodes by accident, and magic that fails under pressure. We have also seen magic that flows like water, precise and effortless. We have seen magic so vast it seems elemental, a force of nature given human form, and magic so dark it eats the very world around it. For decades, we have watched these witches and wizards. We have seen them struggle, train, fight, and fall. And in that time, we naturally begin to sort, to categorize. We ask, who is stronger? We wonder why one hero falls and another, perhaps less skilled, survives. Why does one wizard command a room with their mere presence, while another, armed with the same spells, is ignored? This is why power tiers matter. Not as a game, not as a simple list of who can beat whom in a fight, but as a framework for understanding. To measure magic is to measure its consequence. When we speak of power, we are not speaking of a single metric. We are speaking of a spectrum of attributes. Control is power, the ability to cast the correct spell, non-verbally, under the terror of a duel. Range is power, the versatility to handle a defensive charm, a complex potion, and a piece of intricate transfiguration. Creativity is power, the spark that allows a wizard to invent a new hex, or use an old charm in a way no one has ever imagined. Resilience is power, the mental fortitude to cast a Patronus while surrounded by Dementors, or to shield a friend when your own will is flagging. And finally, consequence is power, the measure of a wizard's ability to permanently change the world around them, for good or for ill. This is not a simple ladder. It is a complex map of human potential. In this exploration, we will lay out a taxonomy of 7 levels. We will journey from the very bottom rungs, those who live in the shadow of magic, unable to touch it, upward through the fumbling apprentices, the competent professionals, the stalwart specialists, and the elite masters who turn the tide of battle. We will climb further still, to the innovators who rewrite the rules of magic itself, and finally, to the legends at the very peak, those few untouchables whose actions define an era. This is a story-rich taxonomy. It is grounded in the events we know, in the duels that stopped our hearts, and the quiet moments of magical mastery that took our breath away. We will dare to measure what the stories only hint at. We will place characters, analyze their skills, and propose a new way of seeing their world. This is not just a study of spells. It is a study of character, of discipline, of trauma, and of choice. To build this map of power, we must start at the beginning, by drawing the borders. We must define the 7 levels, the map of the 7 levels. In this chapter, we lay out the ladder, from the ground to the clouds. These 7 levels are a proposed framework, a way to organize the vast spectrum of magical ability we have witnessed. The criteria for placement are built on the principles we've just discussed: control under stress, spell versatility, creative inventiveness, dueling composure, the capacity to bend magical law, and, ultimately, historical impact. The first level, Level 1, we call the Wandless Wonders. This tier is defined by an absence of control. Here we find those who cannot perform magic reliably or ethically, or who counterfeit skill entirely. This is the realm of the squib, like Argus Filch, who lives in bitterness, and kindly Arabella Fig, who watches from the sidelines. It is the tier of uncontrolled, accidental magic, the emotional bursts of a child like Harry Potter. inflating his aunt or vanishing a pane of glass. And, most dangerously, it is the level of the fraud, like Gilderoy Lockhart, who has built a glittering career on a single stolen spell. Level 2 is the Hogwarts Hazards. These are the witches and wizards who can perform magic, but are dangerously inconsistent. Their arrival on the scene is often met with a wince or a ducked head. This is the tier of early years Neville Longbottom, melting his fourth cauldron. It is Seamus Finnegan, whose charms have a distressing tendency to end in combustion. This is the level of the fumbling apprentice, the hospital wing regular. Their magic is real, but their control is weak, fractured by nerves, a mismatched wand, or poor fundamentals. Level 3 we call the Spellslinging Side Characters. This is the vast, functional middle of the wizarding world. These individuals are competent, reliable in their chosen lane, but rarely decisive in a crisis. This is the level of the average ministry clerk, the background auror in a raid, or the typical member of Dumbledore's army who is not a standout. They possess the middle management of magic, solid shield charms, reliable jinxes, the spells to do their job. It is enough to survive, but seldom enough to dominate. Level 4 is the decent but disposable. The name is harsh, but it is narratively true. These are the trained specialists, the brave and often impressive fighters, who are nevertheless replaceable when the Titans arrive. Here we find masters in their field, like Professor Flitwick, a dueling champion of his youth, or Professor Sprout, a master of botanical warfare. It is the level of skilled aurors, like Nymphadora Tonks, or tactical minds like Remus Lupin. Their value on the battlefield is immense, but they are the ones who often fall to raise the stakes, overshadowed by wizards of a higher, more devastating caliber. Level 5 we call the boss fight material. Their arrival on the battlefield changes its entire rhythm. When they appear, everyone else, friend and foe, must react to them. This is the tier of the true elite, the battlefield commanders and dueling masters. This is Minerva McGonagall, animating the very statues of Hogwarts to defend the school. It is Kingsley Shacklebolt, dueling two Death Eaters at once with effortless poise. It is the sadistic, terrifying precision of Bellatrix Lestrange and the reckless, punishing style of Sirius Black. Level 6 is the Rule Benders. These are the innovators, the geniuses who do not just master magic, they reinvent its grammar. This tier is not just about power, but about creativity. This is Severus Snape, inventing dark curses like Sectum Sempra as a lonely teenager. It is Alastor Mad-Eye Moody, whose paranoia and tactical genius represent a discipline all their own. In some accounts, it is Gellert Grindelwald, Gellert, Grin Delwald, whose ideological sorcery could distinguish friend from foe, a thinking magic. These wizards twist or create the laws of magic to suit their will. Finally, level 7 is the Untouchables. These are the near-mythic figures, the once-in-a-generation wizards, whose very presence warps events around them. Their power is so vast it becomes an inevitability. This is the tier of Tom Riddle, in his terrible journey to becoming Lord Voldemort, shattering the laws of soul magic itself. It is Albus Dumbledore, whose effortless orchestration and elemental power held a Dark Lord at bay for decades. And it is the cultural archetype of Merlin, the wizard against whom all others are measured. This, then, is our map. From the frustrated squib to the history-defining legend, it is a ladder we have seen many characters attempt to climb. Some ascend through training and bravery. Some fall due to arrogance or tragedy. And some, we will find, are locked in place by the limits of their own imagination. Our journey begins at the very bottom. We start in the shadows, with those who can see the light of magic, but cannot hold it. This is Level 1. Level 1. The Wandless Wonders. In this chapter, we examine the floor of the magical world. Level 1 is not about bad magic. It is about the absence of controlled, intentional magic. It is a tier of frustration, of imitation, and of raw, untamed potential. It is composed of three distinct groups: the squibs, who are born without magic; the children, whose magic bursts forth uncontrolled; and the frauds, who steal the credit for magic they cannot perform. We begin with the most tragic figure of this level, the squib. A squib is a non-magical person, born to at least one magical parent. They are not muggles. They exist within the wizarding world. They can see the castles, the creatures, the magic that is hidden from non-magical eyes, but they cannot wield it. Consider Argus Filch, the caretaker of Hogwarts. Filch is a creature of pure resentment. He patrols the halls, a lantern in his hand, his cat, Mrs. Norris, at his heels. His entire identity is a reaction to his own lack of power. He fetishizes the tools of punishment, the chains and manacles he longs to use, because mundane discipline is the only power he can exert over the magical children he envies. His greatest shame, discovered by Harry Potter in his second year, is his enrollment in a quick-spell course. This, a beginner's correspondence course, is the wizarding equivalent of a Learn Guitar in 3 Days pamphlet. It promises what it cannot deliver. The fact that Filch clings to it is a portrait of his desperation. He is surrounded by miracles, and he is locked out. His battles are not duels. They are petty skirmishes with poltergeists like Peeves, waged with insults and mops. Battles he always loses. But not all squibs are defined by this bitterness. Arabella Figg, Harry's neighbor on Privet Drive, presents a different path. She too is a squib, integrated into the magical world as a watcher for Dumbledore. She lives a seemingly mundane life, breeding part-Kneazle cats, but she serves a vital role. She is the bridge, the lookout. Her testimony at Harry's disciplinary hearing in his 5th year is crucial. She cannot see the Dementors. Not truly, she describes the cold and the terror they radiate, but she understands the magical world's rules and dangers. She has accepted her place on the sidelines, finding purpose not in power but in service. The social burden on both Filch and Figg is immense, but their response is one of envy, one of acceptance, define their character. The second group at level 1 is, in many ways, the opposite. They are not defined by a lack of magic, but by a surplus of it, entirely uncontrolled. This is the realm of accidental magic. Before a young witch or wizard is trained, before they even know they are magical, the power inside them reacts to strong emotion. It is a defense mechanism, a cry for help, a burst of wish fulfillment. Harry Potter is the primary case study. His childhood is a series of level 1 events. When his Aunt Petunia shears his messy hair, he wishes desperately for it to be back. The next morning, it is. This is a powerful piece of restorative magic, done unconsciously. When he is chased by his cousin Dudley's gang, he finds himself suddenly, impossibly, on the roof of the school kitchen. This is accidental apparition, or at least a form of powerful levitation, a feat that trained adult wizards struggle with. The two most famous examples show the breadth of this power. At the zoo, a boa constrictor is trapped behind glass. Harry, feeling empathy for the snake and anger at his cousin, simply wishes the glass away, and it vanishes. Not shatters, but vanishes. This is a complex, specific piece of magic. Then, years later, the inflation of his Aunt Marge. This is not a fleeting burst. It is a sustained, continuous act of inflation, fueled by a deep well of adolescent rage. He does not know the spell. He does not have a wand in his hand. But the magic answers his fury, growing in power until the woman is floating to the ceiling. This is raw, terrifying potential. It is the engine of a level 7 wizard, but with no steering wheel, no brakes. It is level 1 because it cannot be replicated, it cannot be aimed, and it cannot be controlled. Finally, we have the most insidious member of this tier, the fraud. The fraud is a wizard who does possess magic, but whose skill is so narrow, so parasitic, that he belongs at this level. He is a counterfeit. We speak, of course, of Gilderoy Lockhart. Lockhart presents to the world as a level 5. At least, he is a celebrated author, a dueling expert, a 5-time winner of Witch Weekly's Most Charming Smile Award. His books are full of daring exploits against hags, yetis, and banshees. The truth, as we learn, is that Lockhart is a one-trick pony. He is a master of a single, difficult spell, the memory charm, Obliviate. His entire career is built on finding witches and wizards who actually performed heroic deeds, interviewing them, and then erasing their memories, claiming their triumphs as his own. His placement at level 1 is confirmed the moment he is challenged. In his disastrous dueling club, he faces Severus Snape. Lockhart strikes a dramatic, flowery pose. He suggests a simple spell, the disarming charm. Snape, bored and contemptuous, does not even wait. He casts his own Expelliarmus non-verbally, an effortless flick of the wrist. The spell hits Lockhart, and does not just disarm him, it lifts him off his feet and smacks him into the wall. Later, in the Chamber of Secrets, his attempt to use Ron's broken wand to erase the memories of 2 children backfires, destroying his own mind. Lockhart is the illusion of power. He has the costume, the smile, and the single spell necessary to maintain his facade. But in a real confrontation, he has no shield, no counter, no substance. He is, in his own way, as powerless as Filch. This level, then, is about the threshold of magic. It is the frustration of the squib who cannot grasp it, the raw potential of the child who cannot aim it, and the hollowness of the fraud who must steal it. To move beyond this level, a wizard needs one thing above all else: control. And as we will see, that is the very thing the next level lacks. They are no longer on the outside looking in, but they are a danger to themselves and everyone around them. They are the Hogwarts Hazards. Level 2. The Hogwarts Hazards. In this chapter, we climb the first rung of the ladder to find those who have magic, but not mastery. This is Level 2. If Level 1 was defined by the absence of control, Level 2 is defined by the crisis of control. These are the witches and wizards who can point a wand and produce a result, but that result is often not the one they intended. They are the cauldron melters, the exploders of charms, the regulars in the hospital wing. They are, in short, a hazard. The poster child for this level is, for his first few years, Neville Longbottom. Neville is the perfect storm of Level 2 factors. He is a wizard of immense latent potential. He is, after all, the other boy from the prophecy, but his childhood has shattered his confidence. He is raised by a formidable grandmother who constantly compares him unfavorably to his heroic, incapacitated parents. He is told, repeatedly, that he is not good enough, and so in his early years, he is not. In potions, a class that requires precision and a calm mind, he is a walking disaster. Under the predatory gaze of Professor Snape, his nerves disintegrate. He melts cauldrons. He causes boils. He is a danger to his classmates. In charms, he struggles. In his first flying lesson, he panics, rises too fast, and breaks his wrist. His magic is chained to his fear. A critical factor here, as the prompt suggests, is a wand mismatch. Neville begins his Hogwarts career using his father's wand. A wand, we are told, chooses the wizard. This wand chose Frank Longbottom, not Neville. He is fighting not only his own nerves, but also an instrument that is not attuned to him. It is like trying to paint a masterpiece with a brush that is too stiff, too long, and actively resists his hand. We see flashes of his true potential. In his first year, facing his friends, he casts a full body bind curse, Petrificus Totalis, on Hermione. He does it bravely, if clumsily. The magic works. But these successes are exceptions. For years, he is the archetype of the well-meaning, magically incompetent student. A second, more explosive example is Seamus Finnegan. Seamus's specialty is combustion. His attempts at the levitation charm, Wingardium Leviosa, result in an explosion. His water-conjuring charm, Aguamenti, results in a jet of water shooting from the wrong end of his wand and knocking his professor over. Where Neville's magic fumbles, Seamus's backfires. This suggests a different kind of level 2 problem. It is not just nerves, but a lack of finesse, a brute force approach to spellcasting. He is applying the will, but none of the nuance, and the magic erupts from his wand in the path of least resistance. And then we have the case of Ron Weasley. Ron is not, by nature, a level 2 wizard. He is generally competent, if a bit lazy. But in his second year, he is forced into this tier by a broken tool. When his wand is snapped by the Whomping Willow, he repairs it with spellotape. This is a catastrophic failure. The wand, the conduit for his magic, is fractured. The results are a textbook display of level 2 inconsistency. His magic becomes a game of Russian roulette. When he attempts to curse Draco Malfoy, the spell backfires, and he spends an afternoon vomiting slugs. His levitation charm half works, lifting objects but then dropping them. His attempt to transfigure a rat fails spectacularly. This is not a lack of power on Ron's part. It is a lack of a conduit. The magic is there, but it is leaking, spraying, and short-circuiting. So what causes a wizard to be trapped at this level? The prompt gives us a perfect checklist. Nerves, as we see with Neville. A wand mismatch, also Neville. Poor fundamentals, as Seamus demonstrates by prioritizing the bang over the charm. Divided attention, the panicked flailing of a student in over their head, and weak nonverbal control. These students are shouting their incantations, pushing the magic out with sheer volume, because the quiet, internal discipline of true spellcraft is beyond them. The good news is that level 2 is not a prison. It is, for most, a phase. The turning point for Neville is his 5th year. He joins Dumbledore's army. He is training with his peers, in a supportive environment, focused on a goal he believes in, fighting back. He is no longer terrified of failure. He is angry. And this righteous anger gives his magic focus. He masters the disarming charm, the stunning spell, the shield charm. He works harder than anyone. And, crucially, he finally gets a new wand, one that chose him. By the Battle of Hogwarts, this former level 2 hazard is a level 4 stalwart, a resistance leader who defies Voldemort to his face and destroys a Horcrux. The journey from level 2 to level 3 is the story of education. It is the process of turning a Hogwarts hazard into a functional member of the wizarding world. It is the most important journey most wizards will ever take. Once that consistency is achieved, however, a wizard finds themselves in the vast functional middle. They are no longer a danger, but a contributor. They have climbed to level 3. Level 3. The Spellslinging Side Characters. In this chapter, we arrive at the great, broad plateau of magical society. Level 3 is where the majority of adult witches and wizards reside. We call them the Spellslinging Side Characters. This is not an insult. It is a definition of their role. They are competent, they are functional, and they are essential. But they are not decisive. They are the middle management of magic. A level 3 wizard has overcome the inconsistency of level 2. They have mastered the spells required for their daily lives and their chosen profession. Their shield charms work. Their jinxes hit their target. Their transfigurations are stable. They are the people who make the magical world run. Think of the Ministry of Magic Atrium. It is filled with level 3 wizards. They are the clerks managing enchanted paper airplanes, the maintenance workers repairing magical elevators, the junior staff in the Department of Magical Transportation. They can apparate. They can cast basic defensive spells. They can get through their day. Percy Weasley in his ministry-obsessed phase, is a perfect level 3 archetype. He is meticulous, he follows the rules, and he produces a very competent report on cauldron bottom thickness. This is the magic of bureaucracy. In a crisis, a level 3 wizard is a follower, not a leader. Consider the average member of Dumbledore's army. We are talking about characters like Hannah Abbott, Justin Finch Fletchley, or Zacharias Smith. Under Harry's tutelage, they move from level 2 to level 3. They master Expelliarmus, Stupefy, Protego. They are brave, they are competent, but they are following a script. They have learned a set of offensive and defensive maneuvers. They are not creative under fire. In the Battle of the Department of Mysteries, the DA members are effective until the real Death Eaters arrive. They are quickly and brutally outclassed by the level 5s. We also find level 3 specialists at Hogwarts. Madame Hooch, the flying instructor, is a prime example. She is an expert at flying and at refereeing Quidditch. Her magic is deep but incredibly narrow. We have no reason to believe she is a competent duelist. She doesn't need to be. Professor Binns, the history of magic teacher, is another. He is a ghost, true, but his only magic is the mind-numbing drone of his lectures. These are professionals who have mastered their niche, and that niche is all they require. The defining feature of level 3 is sufficiency. They have enough magic for their lives. Their magical toolkit is sufficient for their job, their chores, and perhaps a bit of self-defense. They are not innovators. They are not great duelists. They are not battlefield commanders. They are the rank and file, the citizenry. In a battle, a level 3 wizard is a foot soldier. They can hold a line briefly. They can fire stunning spells into a crowd. But their shield charms, while functional against a simple jinx, will shatter under a powerful blasting curse, a reducto, from a level 5. They are the ones who get overwhelmed. They are the ones who need rescuing. Look at the Battle of Hogwarts. The castle is filled with level 3s. The older students, the members of the D.A., even some of the parents who arrive to fight, they are the body of the resistance. They slow the enemy down. They fight with incredible courage, but they do not individually turn the tide. They create the space for the higher-level wizards to have their decisive confrontations. The jump from level 3 to level 4 is not about learning more spells. It is about a change in mindset. It is about moving from competence to excellence. It is about specializing, training not just for sufficiency, but for dominance in a specific field. It is about forging a will that does not bend under pressure. But some are not content with sufficiency. They train, they specialize, they push their skills until they become more than just competent, until they become genuinely impressive. They become the stalwarts, the experts, the first line of defense. They become level 4. Level 4, the decent but disposable. In this chapter, we meet the wizards who are genuinely, impressively good at magic. This is level 4. They are the specialists, the stalwarts, the highly trained professionals. They have moved far beyond the sufficiency of level 3 into the realm of true expertise. They are brave, they are skilled, and they are the people you want on your side. And yet, we call them the decent but disposable. This is the harsh reality of the narrative. These are the characters who are strong enough to be impressive, but who often fall to demonstrate the power of the true villains. They are the senior aurors, the gifted teachers, the tactical leaders. Their disposability is a measure of the stakes. Their deaths hurt us, precisely because they were so competent. Let us examine the masters of Hogwarts. Phileas Flitwick is a prime example of a level 4 specialist. He is the charms master. He was, in his youth, a dueling champion. His work on the Hogwarts defenses during the final battle is complex, powerful, and essential. He summons protective enchantments. He leads the students in casting shields. He is a master of his chosen field. But in a direct confrontation with a top-tier duelist, a Snape, a Bellatrix, a Voldemort, we see him as a supporting player. He is there to hold the line, not to win the war. His skill is deep, but narratively narrow. Then, Pomona Sprout. Professor Sprout is a level 4, whose battlefield contribution is botanical warfare. Give her a greenhouse and preparation time, and she is a level 6. She can weaponize Devil's Snare. She can deploy mandrakes. She can use the most venomous plants in the world as a tactical army. In the Battle of Hogwarts, she does exactly this, using her plants to attack the invading giants and Death Eaters. This is smart, effective, and powerful, but it is limited. In a one-on-one duel, in an open courtyard, without her materials, her skill set is less applicable. She is a specialist. Now we turn to the Aurors. Nymphadora Tonks is a classic level 4. Her primary gift is a level 6 ability. She is a metamorph magus, able to change her appearance at will. This is an incredibly rare, innate skill. It makes her a master of infiltration and disguise. She is also a fully trained Auror, mentored by Alastor Moody himself. She is brave, she is agile, and she is tough. And yet, in almost every major fight we see her in, she is on the losing end. In the Department of Mysteries, she is injured and taken out of the fight by Bellatrix. In the Battle of the Seven Potters, she is pursued and nearly caught. And in the final battle, she is killed, again by her aunt, Bellatrix Lestrange. She is a good Auror. She is not Bellatrix. Her skill is undeniable, but it is eclipsed by a level 5's sadistic power. Finally, we have one of the most complex and beloved characters at this level, Remus Lupin. Lupin is, without question, a brilliant wizard. He was a great teacher, the one who finally gave Harry the tool to fight Dementors. He is tactical, calm under pressure, when it's not the full moon, and deeply knowledgeable about dark magic. He is a core member of the Order of the Phoenix. But he is also a man defined by his constraints, his lycanthropy, his poverty, his self-loathing. These things have worn him down. In a fight, he is a survivor. He is tactical, defensive. He protects others. We see him duel, but we rarely see him dominate. In confrontations with Snape, he is often on the back foot. In the chase with Sirius, he is outmaneuvered. In the Department of Mysteries, he is one of the last standing, a testament to his endurance. But he is ultimately killed in the final battle, alongside his wife, Tonks. Lupin is the tragic archetype of level 4. He is the brilliant, brave, good man who is simply not powerful enough to survive the clash of the Titans. His disposability is his tragedy. He and Tonks are the stalwarts. They are the wall. And the wall, against the power of level 5 and above, can break. This level is defined by its ceiling. The wizards here are the best of the best, until the real monsters arrive. The next level is defined by its arrival. They are the monsters. They are the ones who break the wall. They are level 5. Level 5. The boss fight material. In this chapter, we ascend to the tier of the true elite. Level 5 is where the battle changes. If a level 4 is a brick wall, a level 5 is a wrecking ball. Their arrival on the battlefield shifts the entire dynamic. When they appear, lesser wizards, levels 2, 3, and even 4, duck for cover. These are the masters, the commanders, the elite duelists, whose presence signals that the fight has become serious. They are the boss fight material. Our first example is the deputy headmistress of Hogwarts, Minerva McGonagall. For most of the story, we see her as a stern, level 4 specialist in transfiguration. And then, in the final battle, her gloves come off. The sheer power she commands is breathtaking. Her signature moment is the animation of the castle's defenses, Pier Totem Locomotor. She animates dozens, perhaps hundreds, of suits of armor and statues. This is not simple animation. She is imbuing them all with a single complex instruction: defend the school. Protect the students. This is massive, simultaneous, high-level transfiguration, performed under extreme duress. It is a flex of magical muscle that few could even attempt. And then, her dueling. When she confronts Severus Snape in the Great Hall, she does not hesitate. She is an inferno. She attacks with a speed and ferocity that is terrifying. She animates armor to attack him. She conjures a whip of pure fire. This is not the stern teacher. This is a warrior, and a terrifyingly powerful one. She later stands against Voldemort himself, alongside Kingsley and Slughorn. Minerva McGonagall is, without question, a high-level 5. Our second example is Kingsley Shacklebolt. Kingsley is the definition of economy and poise. He is the anti-Sirius. He is a senior Auror, the one trusted to guard the Muggle Prime Minister, the one Dumbledore trusts implicitly. In every fight, he is a picture of calm competence. In the Department of Mysteries, we are told he is dueling 2 Death Eaters at once and holding his own. His spells are precise, non-verbal, and effective. He never seems to panic. This mental fortitude, this constant vigilance that Moody would be proud of, is power. His Patronus is a massive, tangible lynx, capable of delivering complex messages. He is a leader, a protector, and a dominant force. When the battle is over, it is Kingsley who is named the new, temporary Minister for Magic. It is a natural choice. He is the commander. Our third example is the dark side of this tier: Bellatrix Lestrange. If Kingsley is poise, Bellatrix is sadistic precision. She is perhaps the most dangerous Death Eater after Voldemort himself, precisely because her power is married to her fanaticism and her cruelty. She has no restraint, no mercy. She tortured the Longbottoms into insanity. She killed her cousin, Sirius Black. She killed her niece, Nymphadora Tonks. She murdered Dobby, the house elf. In the Battle of Hogwarts, just before her end, she is described as dueling 3 witches at once: Hermione, Ginny, and Luna, and winning. She is laughing, her dark magic battering their combined shields. Her power is fueled by a sadistic joy in combat. She is a true boss fight. This brings us to duel dissection. Let's analyze the clash that defines this level: the duel between Bellatrix and Sirius Black in the Department of Mysteries. This is a duel of level 5s. Sirius, fresh from Azkaban but still a formidable wizard, is fighting with a joyful, reckless abandon. He is arrogant, taunting her. "Come on, you can do better than that." His spells are powerful, forcing her back. Bellatrix is his equal in power, but her style is different. It is erratic, dancing, frenzied. The battle is a clash of equals, of punishing offense against punishing offense. Sirius's fall is not due to a lack of power. It is a moment of level 5 arrogance. He ducks a spell from Bellatrix, taunts her, and is then hit by a second spell. Some accounts say a simple, stunning spell. Others, a more concussive force that knocks him off balance and through the veiled archway. His recklessness, his primary character trait, is his downfall. Now contrast this with McGonagall's duel with Snape. It is a masterclass. McGonagall is pure, focused aggression. She opens with a non-verbal spell that yanks the torches from the wall and directs them at him. Snape, crucially, deflects them, turning them into a ring of fire. McGonagall transfigures that fire into a wave of animated, attacking animals. Snape vanishes them. She then animates the armor. Snape uses the armor to shield himself and the Carrow twins, blasting them back, and then using them as a distraction to flee, crashing through the window. This duel is critical. McGonagall is on the offense, demonstrating overwhelming power and creativity. Snape is on the defense. he is not trying to win. He is trying to contain her and escape without harming her. He is a level 6, holding back against a full force, level 5. The wizards of level 5 are the masters of known magic. They are the ones who win wars, who lead armies, who become the targets that must be taken down. But there is a level beyond mastery. There is a level for those who do not just use the spells, but who write them. These are the innovators. They are level 6. Level 6. The Rule Benders. In this chapter, we step beyond mastery and into the realm of genius. Level 6 is not just about being powerful, it is about being creative. The wizards at this tier are the innovators, the inventors, the ones who look at the established laws of magic and ask, why? Or, what if? They don't just master the grammar of magic, they write new sentences. They are the rule benders. The quintessential member of this tier is Severus Snape. Snape's genius is not just in his mastery, but in his invention. As a lonely, brooding teenager, he took his potions textbook and improved it. He redesigned brewing methods. He found shortcuts. He showed a level of intuitive understanding that surpassed the textbook's author. This is level 6 intellect. And then, he invented spells. Levi Corpus, the ankle-reversing jinx. Muffliato, the privacy charm that fills the ears of nearby people with a buzzing sound. And most terribly, Sectum Sempra, for enemies, a curse that slashes a target as if with an invisible sword, causing deep, bleeding wounds. This is not a spell he found. This is a spell he created. This is a terrifying, brilliant, and dark piece of magical invention. His mastery extends beyond this. He is, alongside Voldemort, one of the only wizards known to have achieved unassisted broomless flight. This is a feat that defies known magical principles. He didn't learn it. He and his master figured it out. Furthermore, Snape is one of the most accomplished occluments in the world. He bent the rules of the mind, shielding his thoughts from the most powerful legilimens alive, Lord Voldemort, for years. This is not just a shield. It is an active, sustained, incredibly complex deception. Snape's strategy, his inventions, and his unique skills place him squarely in level 6. Our next example is Alastair Mad-Eye Moody. Moody's placement here is not just for his dueling prowess, though he was the greatest auror of his time. Moody is level 6 because of his mindset. His pedagogical extremity, teaching the unforgivable curses to fourth-year students, is a bending of all ethical and educational rules. Why? Because, as he says, you need to know what you're up against. His paranoia, his constant vigilance, is a magical discipline in itself. He thinks in a way others do not, and his magical eye. This is a piece of rule-bending artifice. It can see through walls, through invisibility cloaks, and even through the back of his own head. It is a magical tool that breaks the fundamental rules of sight and physics. Moody didn't just master defensive magic. He embodied a new, paranoid philosophy of it, augmenting himself with magic that bordered on the illegal to become the perfect hunter of dark wizards. In some accounts, we find Gellert Grindelwald at this level, or perhaps bridging it to the next. His ideological sorcery is a key distinction. Voldemort ruled by fear. Grindelwald ruled by persuasion. His magic was seductive. In some retellings, such as the events at the Père Lachaise, Shez, cemetery in Paris, he conjures a circle of enchanted, conscious blue fire. This fire is a test. His followers can walk through it unharmed. His enemies are incinerated. This is not a simple fiend fire. This is a curse with a brain. It is a piece of magic that reads allegiance. This is a bending of magical rules on a conceptual level. We can even argue that a wizard can be level 5 in general, but level 6 in their chosen discipline. We spoke of Minerva McGonagall's power, but her finesse in transfiguration borders on rule-bending. Animating the castle is level 5 power. But her ability to, for example, transfigure 3 Death Eaters into different animals non-verbally in the heat of battle, or to conjure complex, living creatures from nothing. This is so far beyond the norm that it pushes the boundaries of what transfiguration is supposed to do. The line between level 5 and level 6 is the line between mastery and invention. A level 5 wizard, like Kingsley Shacklebolt, has mastered the test. A level 6 wizard, like Severus Snape, writes the test. They are the ones who push the boundaries, who invent the tools and tactics that the level 5s will then master. And then, there is the level beyond the rules. There is the level that is the rule. The level of wizards so powerful, their very existence defines the age they live in. They are the legends. They are level 7. Level 7. The Untouchables. In this chapter, we reach the summit. Level 7 is not just a tier, it is a force of nature. This level is reserved for those near-mythic figures whose presence warps events, whose power is so vast it becomes an inevitability. They are not merely in the story, they are the story. Everyone else, from the lowly level 1 to the brilliant level 6, becomes a supporting player in their grand, terrible shadow. They are the Untouchables. This tier contains only 2 contemporary figures, the 2 poles of the entire saga, Albus Dumbledore and Lord Voldemort. We begin with Tom Riddle and the making of Voldemort's terrible force. Riddle's genius was apparent from the beginning. He was, like Snape, an innovator. But his innovations were not just curses. They were violations of the deepest laws of magic. His goal was not power, but immortality. And in pursuit of it, he did what no wizard had dared. He shattered his soul. The creation of his Horcruxes was not just dark magic. It was a fundamental reinvention of soul magic. He did not just bend the rules of life and death. He broke them, again and again. This quest gave him a power that was absolute, because it was divorced from all fear of death. His other innovations are staggering. He, like Snape, mastered broomless flight. He reanimated the dead into an army of inferi. He was a master. Legolimens. He spoke to snakes, but it was his intent that made him a level 7. He was a magical void, consuming everything. His duel with Dumbledore in the Ministry Atrium is the single greatest clash of level 7s we witness. This is not a duel of Stupefy and Expelliarmus. This is a cataclysm. Voldemort attacks with elemental fury. Dumbledore contains him. When Voldemort conjures a massive serpent of pure fire, Dumbledore answers not by destroying it, but by mastering it, turning it against its creator. When Voldemort hurls a storm of shattered glass, Dumbledore liquefies the air, turning the shards into harmless sand. When Voldemort conjures a tidal wave, Dumbledore contains it in a sphere of pure protective magic. And when Voldemort, in his rage, possesses Harry, Dumbledore's power, the power of love, is what repels him. Voldemort is raw elemental force. And on the other side, there is Albus Dumbledore. His power is effortless orchestration. Where Voldemort is a storm, Dumbledore is the sky that contains it. His magic is almost always non-verbal, casual, and overwhelming. In the Department of Mysteries, while the level 5s are battling for their lives, Dumbledore arrives and ends the fight in seconds. He binds the remaining Death Eaters in an instant, effortlessly, without breaking a sweat. His achievements are the stuff of legend. He discovered the 12 uses of dragon's blood. He was the only wizard Voldemort ever feared. And, in his youth, he defeated the other great dark wizard of the century, Gellert Grindelwald. That duel, some accounts say, lasted for hours. A battle of 2 level 7s that shattered the landscape. A true clash of titans. Dumbledore's mastery of the Elder Wand was so complete that the wand's terrible, bloody history was paused for decades, held in check by his wisdom. What makes these two inevitable is that their actions define the era. The conflicts are not called the First and Second Wizarding Wars. They are called the Voldemort War. The resistance is not the Ministry resistance. It is Dumbledore's army and the Order of the Phoenix. They are the sons, and everyone else is caught in their orbit. And then there is the third member of this tier, the archetype Merlin. We know almost nothing about him, but his name is the yardstick for power. Merlin's beard. Order of Merlin. He represents the mythic past, a time when magic was so potent that a single wizard could shape a kingdom. He is the cultural icon of Level 7, the legend against whom even Dumbledore is measured. To be a Level 7 is to be more than a wizard. It is to be a historical event. Their duels are not fights, they are weather. Their choices are not personal, they are political. They are the wizards who, by their very existence, force the world to choose a side. But is this power born, or is it made? Is it a product of genius or of study, of trauma or of discipline? We pause now to reflect on the ingredients of power and the terrible price it so often extracts. Interlude: training, temperament, and the cost of power. In this chapter, we take a reflective pause. We have climbed the ladder of power, but we have not yet asked the most fundamental question: what builds a wizard? Is it innate genius, or is it relentless study? Is it the tool in their hand or the temperament in their heart? The truth we find is that power is an ecosystem. It is a combination of many factors, and the lack of one can undermine all the others. Let us first consider training. Compare two of the brightest wizards of their generation, Hermione Granger and Harry Potter. Hermione is the model student. She studies, she reads the books, she learns the theory, she practices the wand movements. Her knowledge of magic is Level 6. She can recall spells that no one else has even heard of. Harry, by contrast, is an instinctive wizard. He is a poor student in most subjects, but in defense against the dark arts, he excels. He doesn't just learn the spell, he feels it. His Patronus charm, a notoriously difficult piece of magic, is mastered in his third year, far ahead of his peers. Who is more powerful? Hermione has the range. Harry has the instinct. The Dumbledore's army lessons are the perfect synthesis. Hermione provides the structure, the theory. Harry provides the practical, instinctive application. Together, they demonstrate that focused practice training with a clear purpose can elevate an entire group from the fumbling of Level 2 to the competence of Level 3. Training, then, is the engine that moves wizards up the ladder. But training is useless without the correct temperament. Temperament is the filter through which all magic must pass. Consider the difference between Sirius Black and Kingsley Shacklebolt, two Level 5 duelists. Sirius is all passion, recklessness, and joy in battle. This makes him a dazzling and punishing fighter, but it also gets him killed. He lets his guard down. Kingsley is all poise, control, and economy. He wastes no energy. He makes no emotional errors. He survives. Temperament is most crucial when dealing with the dark arts. We are told, explicitly, that the unforgivable curses require real intent. You cannot cast Crucio, the torture curse, with righteous anger, as Harry discovers. When he casts it on Bellatrix after she kills Sirius, it merely knocks her off her feet. He doesn't mean it. He is not a sadist. Bellatrix, by contrast, casts it with a pure, concentrated desire to inflict pain. Her temperament is aligned with the curse, and it becomes devastating. This is the power of love, the magic Dumbledore champions. It is not a spell. It is a temperament. It is what shields Harry from possession. It is what fuels Molly Weasley's protective ferocity. It is what drives Snape's unbreakable vow. This intent, be it love, sadism, or clinical precision, is the fuel for all great magic. Next, we must consider the tools, the wands. A wand is not a simple conduit. It is a partner. It has an allegiance. Harry's wand and Voldemort's wand, sharing a feather from the same phoenix, refuse to fight each other properly. This results in the reverse spell effect, priori incantatem, prior incantatem, in the graveyard. This isn't a duel of wizards. It is an argument between their wands. And then, the Elder Wand. This is the ultimate amplifier. It is a wand that, legend says, cannot be beaten, but it has a fickle, bloody allegiance. Dumbledore masters it through his defeat of Grindelwald. Voldemort possesses it, but never masters it, because he did not win it from its true master. Harry wins its allegiance, accidentally, by disarming Draco Malfoy. The wand, this ultimate symbol of power, answers not to murder, but to a simple disarming. This tells us everything we need to know about the true nature of power. A wizard with a mismatched wand, like Neville, is trapped in level 2. A wizard who understands wand lore, like Dumbledore or Harry, can harness a power beyond their own. Finally, we must speak of the cost. Power is never free. It exacts a terrible price. Dumbledore's quest for power in his youth costs him his sister's life. His use of the Marvolo Gaunt's ring Horcrux costs him his hand, leaving it withered and cursed. Voldemort's quest for immortality costs him his soul, his humanity, and his very face, leaving him a monstrous, snake-like creature. Alastor Moody's career cost him an eye, a leg, and a piece of his nose. Magic, especially great magic, burns the user. This is why defensive excellence so often triumphs over raw aggression. Aggression, like Bellatrix's, is a wildfire. It burns hot and fast. But defensive mastery, the kind Dumbledore shows in the Ministry, is about endurance, about control. It is about containing the fire until it burns itself out. Training, temperament, wand lore, and the willingness to pay the cost, these are the hidden ingredients. They explain why a wizard with vast knowledge, like Slughorn, might be a coward, and why a boy with a broken wand, like Ron, might still be a hero. Let us now apply this complex framework to a few equally complex cases, to see how these factors combine in the real world. Epilogue. What power is for. In this chapter, we take our final steps and look back down the ladder. Our journey is complete. We have traveled from the ground floor of the magical world, from the quiet frustration of the level 1 squib, locked out of the miracle. We have climbed past the fumbling explosions of the level 2 apprentice, a danger to themselves and their classmates. We have walked the broad, competent plateau of level 3, the functional, everyday magic that makes the world turn. We ascended further, to the specialists, the brave, level 4 stalwarts, the first line of defense, so often the ones who fall. We have stood in awe of the level 5 masters, the elite commanders and duelists whose arrival changes the very rhythm of a battle. We have marveled at the genius of the level 6 innovators, the rule benders who did not just learn magic, but who created it. And finally, we have stood at the summit, in the shadow of the level 7 legends, those forces of nature, Dumbledore and Voldemort, whose terrible duet defined an age. We have seen that power is not one thing, but many. It is the discipline of Snape, the poise of Kingsley, the ferocity of Bellatrix, and the raw, sad intellect of Slughorn. It is the situational, protective rage of Molly Weasley, and the quiet, ethical restraint of Hermione Granger. But in the end, what is power for? The saga we have studied gives us a profound and difficult answer. It shows us two wizards at the peak, at level 7. One, Lord Voldemort, used his power to deny death, to dominate, to destroy. He tore his own soul to pieces, believing that power was an end in itself. The other, Albus Dumbledore, spent his life haunted by his own ambition, learning that power was a burden, a terror. He learned that its only true purpose was to protect. In the final defining moment of the entire story, The great Dark Lord is defeated. He is not defeated by a new, more powerful curse. He is not outmatched by a greater, more devastating spell. He is defeated by his own rebounding killing curse, deflected by the allegiance of a wand that respects not murder, but mastery. And the spell that won that mastery, the spell that Harry Potter used, was the humble, defensive, non-lethal, disarming charm. The story ends not with a coronation, but with a repair. Harry Potter, the master of the Elder Wand, the master of death, uses that ultimate power not to rule, not to conquer, but to mend his own broken original wand. He chooses the simple, the humble, the known. He chooses to set aside the power he has earned. This, then, in this world, the greatest magic is not only what you can do, but what you choose to do. The ultimate measure of a wizard is not the level of their power, but the content of their character. It is the wisdom to know when to fight, and the even greater wisdom to know when to disarm and when to rebuild. Thank you for listening.